Off of 1,000 emails, we booked 327 in-person meetings. Now, Krista, who was running all of this, was like, she was fucked because that many emails coming back to your inbox all at once is like, to book all these emails. I mean, that's the dream, is to have all these meetings to book. Your commission check would be so huge that month. But to try and keep up with that was insane. Like in 2018, we saw reply rates starting to drop off. And we ended up going from a cold email agency that we'd been doing since 2012 to full cycle, full stack sales, like sales development outsourcing. That turned out to be a bad experiment that took me way too long to unwind, because it looked really good. It looked like reply rates went up and everything went up, but it turned out to be just a really bad business for a different reason, a bunch of reasons that I won't go into today, because that's not kind of the topic. But the reason we did that was because reply rates were dropping. And I think what my diagnosis was, okay, reply rates are dropping, therefore we need an SDR to make dials, right? Like that's how we'll make it up. And my mistake there was giving up on cold email and creativity. And back in 2018, when it was like easy to get reply rates, like decent reply rates, and we were treating them both the same. We were doing the same thing, which was direct response or direct ask sales messaging. And the thing that embarrassingly took me until recently to learn is that when you're a startup and you don't have enough information, or you don't have much information about who your buyer is, about what it is they want, what it is their jobs to be done are, what is their obstacles, the friction that's getting in the way, the goals, you don't know what foot to put forward in a cold email. And so the thing that you need to do is, instead of going after a direct response and saying, hey, here's all the assumption I know, and based on that, I think you're a good fit. Is this interesting to you? You have to say, hey, I want to, instead of trying to go for the direct kill or the direct meeting booking, you got to go relationship first and say, hey, you look interesting. Would you like to come on the podcast? Because those reply rates are really good. Like when I did it, I guess I've got the Predictable Revenue brand and the podcast. We just hit 400 episodes. So it's maybe a little bit better known than a lot of folks that are out there. I think we peaked at like an 11.4% reply rate to that email. I've replicated this with clients that are starting a podcast and are going after some really challenging ideal customer profiles. And one company is saying 2% reply rates, which doesn't sound very good. But when you're emailing the CTOs of the biggest tech companies in the world, it's actually really good. And it's a 2% reply rate and 100% positive. So like, people don't reply to tell you to fuck off. They only reply to say yes, which is weird. I very rarely see 100% positive reply rate and a low percentage. But my argument is that it's actually worth it, because even if somebody turns into nothing, even if they don't buy from you right now, you still have a couple of things. You have some marketing artifacts that you can turn into valuable content or social posts or a blog post. I mean, obviously you've got the podcast, and so you can make it, it makes it easier for you to get folks on the podcast next time. But you've also, learned from them. You can follow up with them later. You've got somebody who knows who you are, who, if you decide to pivot, you can reach out to and say, hey, this wasn't working, but now we're trying this. What do you think about that? And like, to have 20, 30, 40 folks that you can reach out to is pretty incredible. And so my argument for startups, or for when you are not confident in this is the exact thing that we want to sell to you, that you shouldn't be sending cold email spam with, AI personalization saying, hey, I bet you this restaurant in Columbus is pretty cool. Because it's not genuine, right? I think the reason why folks are replying to these emails and they're willing to get on the podcast is you're making that investment of your time. You're not saying, hey, I'm going to buy a list of 100,000 people and I'm going to cold email them and I'm going to care zero about any of them. I just want to try and sell to them. I'm not thinking of them as a prospect or as a future commission check. I'm thinking of them as a person at a company that I want to get a chance to know and establish a relationship. And hey, if they happen to need something that I can sell them, well, that's a bonus. But I've had a chance to learn and build that relationship and maybe find a way to help them. And I think in sales, there's all these sales books that say, oh, it's relationship first, relationship first. But there aren't really any sales books that talk about how to do that other than like find out what their birthdays are, remember their kids' names, send them a birthday card. Like, I don't know, cheesy stuff that my grandpa did. And I think that's why emails and approaches like this work really well is everybody is sending cold AI generated cold email. And I'm sending short templated emails that says, hey, I'm going to put some work into a relationship. Does that sound interesting to you? And the things that have been working well for me are podcasts, writing a blog post, doing a roundtable. So kind of taking like this idea, but just cold email and saying, hey, we're going to do a roundtable on X. Do you want to join us? Things like that have been working extremely well over the last, I don't know, couple of months for me. And like, I always run them as a side by side with cold email and like pure direct ask cold email messaging. And like the cold email, the average is around 0.5% to 1% in terms of a reply rate. And a good relationship first prospecting method is probably close to, I don't know, 3%, 5%. I've seen some as high as 7. My own one got 11%. Small sample size, so I wouldn't take that as like a baseline. But I'd rather get a 4% reply rate than a 0.4% reply rate any day, even if it means I have to do some more work.